A lot of folks hear .22 long rifle, and they immediately picture knocking over cans, or maybe some light squirrel duty. If that's where your head is at, you are seriously behind the curve. That same cartridge. Yeah, the one you probably learned on with your granddad's old bolt action. It is packing way more capability than most people realize. Today, we are breaking down the absolute hardest-hitting .22 long rifle ammunition, the loads that are tearing up ballistic gel and dropping varmints all across the country right here in 2025. And let's be clear, this is not some fluff piece read straight from an ammo box. This is the practical, real-world analysis of what actually performs, what really matters when you're loading a magazine, and what truly earns its keep, whether that's on the range or out in the field. Stick around, because when we get to number 3, I'm telling you, that round is an absolute game changer. It's a freak. All right, let's get into it. Number 7. CCI Stinger. We're starting with the legend. For as long as I can remember, the Stinger has been the benchmark for high-velocity rimfire. You walk into any gun store and mention Fast 22, and the first name that comes up is always the Stinger. What we're looking at here is a 32-grain copper-plated hollow point, and it is moving at a blistering 1640 feet per second at the muzzle. Now that's a lightweight bullet, absolutely, but that sheer speed means it hits with an authority that just doesn't match its size. On impact, the Stinger doesn't just pencil through. It fragments violently, snaps open, and dumps all its energy immediately. It's like a tiny grenade. You're seeing temporary wound cavities in ballistic gel that you just don't associate with rimfire. We're talking close to 200 foot-pounds of energy hitting that target. Out in the field, this translates to small game and varmints just folding. It's explosive. On the gel block, that expansion is fast and absolutely devastating. It absolutely lives up to its reputation. What makes it so useful is its reliability across different firearms. Put it in a Ruger 10/22, and you have a first-class varmint dispatcher. But load it into a compact pistol, and suddenly you have a rimfire round with genuine defensive bite. Now, look, using rimfire for self-defense is a whole separate heated discussion. But if you are forced into that situation, you need a round that brings maximum performance to the table. The Stinger absolutely does that. Just one heads up, it is not subtle. Out of a short-barreled pistol, especially indoors, this round has a serious, sharp crack. The guy in the lane next to you might not appreciate it. The CCI Stinger is light, incredibly fast, and it hits hard. It's the undisputed speed demon of the .22 long rifle world. Number 6. Federal Punch. Next up, the Federal Punch. This round is all business. Federal didn't design this for flashy expansion or fragmentation. It was purpose-built for one job: deep, straight-line penetration, specifically from short-barreled compact handguns. The Punch utilizes a 29-grain flat-nose bullet, and it's loaded into a nickel-plated case. That plating isn't just for corrosion resistance. It ensures slick, reliable feeding in semi-auto pistols that are notoriously finicky, especially those that tend to hang up on the wide mouth of a hollow point. When you shoot this into gel, even through heavy clothing, the Punch just drives. We're seeing 12 to 16 inches consistently. No tumbling, no veering off course. Just a deep, reliable wound channel, time after time. See, here's the reality check. Expansion is fantastic if you have the velocity to make it happen, but a typical rimfire hollow point fired from a 2-inch barrel, there's just not enough velocity. They often fail to expand at all, acting like ball ammo. Federal understood this limitation and engineered a solution. They designed this round to act like a tiny, focused full metal jacket, but with the flat nose profile to do more damage. It's not dramatic, it's not going to make for explosive gel tests. But if you are trusting your life to a rimfire pocket gun, something like the Ruger LCP-2, this is the load that's engineered to behave like a serious duty round. And the key takeaway is, it feeds. Anyone who's run a lot of rimfire through a semi-auto knows the frustration of stoppages. The Punch was built from the ground up to solve that exact problem, and it does. Bottom line, the Federal Punch isn't about making a splash. It's about guaranteeing a hole right where you aimed it, every single time. And in the world of pocket pistol rimfire, that kind of reliability is golden. Number 5. Winchester Silvertip segmented. All right, now we're getting into some really innovative engineering. This is the Winchester Silvertip, a 37-grain segmented hollow point. Most rimfire hollow points are designed to mushroom, to peel back and create a classic expanded shape. This round completely ignores that philosophy. On impact, the Silvertip is designed to shatter in a controlled way. 3 sharp segments, or blades, break off from the main shank. These pieces peel away from the core, creating multiple separate wound tracks, instead of just one primary channel. When you see the gel test footage, it's not a failure. The round is literally designed to create a massive, chaotic temporary cavity. This is engineered fragmentation. Winchester designed it to dump 100% of its energy inside the target, while specifically limiting its overall penetration depth. That is a huge advantage for defensive use, especially in a home or apartment. You get maximum effect on the target, with a reduced risk of that round passing through walls and hitting something or someone you didn't intend to. The most impressive part? It actually functions reliably. I've run this stuff clean through a Ruger SR-22 and a Smith & Wesson Victory, with 0 feeding issues. For a round with such an aggressive-looking projectile, it chambers just like standard round nose. This is one of those loads that many shooters just haven't discovered yet. But here in 2025, it is getting a lot of well-deserved attention. In gel, or on small varmints, it just doesn't behave like a normal rimfire. It acts like a miniature frangible round, and that's why it's so unique. Number 4. CCI Velocitor. Now we're stepping back from the specialized fragmentation and looking at a round that is just a serious all-around workhorse. This is the CCI Velocitor. It's a 40-grain, copper-plated hollow point. It's not the absolute fastest round on the list, but it's still moving at a very respectable 1435 feet per second. It's not the heaviest bullet, but it's a full 40 grains. And that combination, that balance, is precisely why it is so effective. The Velocitor isn't designed around one single trick. It is tuned for the perfect equilibrium between velocity, weight, expansion, and penetration. When you shoot this into gel, you consistently get 12 to 14 inches of penetration and a perfect, uniform mushroom. That's the ideal performance envelope for both hunting and defensive applications. On small game, it delivers a clean, immediate stop. No tracking, just lights out. But where it really stands out is its accuracy. Out of a good rifle, like a Ruger 1022, my groups with Velocitor tighten right up, often performing as well as dedicated match ammunition. Even in semi-auto pistols, it feeds reliably and cycles the action with authority. There's no fragmentation, there's no unpredictable behavior. The Velocitor is the one you can count on. The round you buy a brick of and keep in the ammo can, because you know, without a doubt, that it is going to perform. Number 3. Norma Hunter 22. Power. This is the one that most shooters on the range just walk right past. It's the Norma Hunter 22 Power. Yes, it's coming straight out of Sweden. It's a 40 grain load, moving at about 1260 feet per second. Now, if you just read the box, those numbers look pretty standard, almost tame. But the terminal performance is what sets it apart. This round hits differently. It's engineered to expand very wide, but it penetrates with serious authority. And this is key. It leaves usable game meat behind. If you're actually harvesting squirrels or rabbits, you don't want a round that vaporizes them. This one does the job cleanly. But the real selling point here is the consistency. Norma is known for running incredibly tight manufacturing tolerances. That means, box after box, your point of impact doesn't shift. The velocity deviation is minimal. From bolt-action rifles to suppressed semi-autos, this ammo just doesn't care. It runs. The cost is also very competitive, usually around 10 cents a round. When you factor in that level of accuracy and terminal performance, that is outstanding value. It doesn't have flashy marketing. It's not all over social media. But in head-to-head testing, this Norma load will stand right alongside the biggest US brands. Most people have never even given it a try. But once they do, the Hunter 22 Power is going to go from being an insider secret to a must-buy staple very quickly. Number 2. Winchester Super X. Next up is a true classic, the definition of a reliable standby. Winchester Super X in the 40-grain copper-plated hollow point. Velocity is right around 1280 feet per second. That 40-grain weight keeps it stable and predictable. The performance here is simple. It just works. It expands reliably. It penetrates deep enough to handle tough-skinned varmints. And it has been doing exactly that, unchanged, for decades. Super X was engineered from day one with the hunter in mind. That's why it maintains a flat trajectory and delivers solid accuracy from both rifles and pistols. I've used this load to drop raccoons, possums, and yes, the occasional fox. They all went down, right now. This round isn't trying to win any high-tech awards. It doesn't fragment into a dozen pieces. It is simply the proven veteran load in this lineup. It's reliable, it's tested, and it's still on the shelves for a reason. In a market that is flooded with gimmicks and flashy new boxes, sometimes what you really need is just ammunition that you know will not fail. That is the Winchester Super X. Number 1. Aguila Super Extra Hollow Point. Alright, let's talk about the high-performance, high-volume option. The Aguila Super Extra Hollow Point. You have absolutely seen this stuff, stacked high in bulk packs at every single gun shop. The price tag is often so low, it makes you stop and think. And for a lot of shooters, the first assumption is, cheap .22 ammo has to be dirty, weak, or unreliable. That assumption is completely wrong. This load is proof. Aguila is not some small-time operation. They have grown to become one of the largest rimfire manufacturers on the planet, and the Super Extra line is their flagship. This hollow point typically runs 38 or 40 grains, and it moves at a solid 1250 feet per second. But what about terminal performance? It honestly rivals rounds that cost twice as much. I have personally burned through bricks of this ammunition. Through old Marlin lever actions, modern suppressed Ruger pistols, and even notoriously finicky semi-autos. And here is the big surprise for most people. It runs clean. It cycles reliably. And its consistency is often better than some loads marketed as premium. In gel testing, you will see real, effective, usable expansion, especially from rifle-length barrels. And even from a pistol, it's still carrying enough energy to be effective. For taking care of groundhogs, raccoons, or just ringing steel targets all afternoon. This ammo performs way above its price point. Now, let's be realistic. It is not match grade. You're not going to win an Olympic-level competition with it. But that is not what this round was built for. This is your everyday, do-it-all rimfire ammunition for plinking, for varmint control, and for training without destroying your bank account. The bottom line is this. Aguila Super Extra doesn't need fancy marketing to impress you. It just does the job, box after box, round after round. If you're looking for a .22 that puts on a flashy, explosive show, that's what the Hornady VMAX is for. This Aguila load, on the other hand, is the dependable workhorse. It's affordable, it's reliable, and it is always ready to run. And that wraps up our look at 7 of the hardest-hitting rimfire loads on the market in 2025. We've covered extreme velocity, tactical fragmentation, deep penetration, and absolute reliability. Now, I want to hear from you. What is your primary go-to .22 long rifle load? Let me know in the comments section below. I do read them all. If you got some good information out of this today, do me a favor and hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming up next. As always, stay sharp and shoot safe. I'll see you on the next one.